She rose and fell, tumbled from grace, and slithered out from certain death. In her time, she's healed and hurt, built and protected, destroyed and conquered. She's been alive for nearly 2,000 years, waking every day in perfect health, just as the day before. But admittedly, as the centuries rolled on, the control over her blurring memories has weakened. All that's left now are the deep scars on her psyche. The soul never forgets. Her infinite days were now spent chasing goods rattling across the desert on merchant trade routes. But if she was clever enough, she may carry off more than just stolen spices and fine jewellery. When she first speaks to you, you believe every word. She was no liar. She seemed wise beyond her years. She was gentle yet direct. It's as if she's already met you and knows your ways, your fears, your desires. You would swear she was there when you first skinned your knee, caught your first fish, and fell in love for the first time. She feels like a mother, yet a sister, yet a daughter. She's already crawled up inside of you and sunk her teeth into your heart. But you've only just met. She's asked your name, and you'll give it freely without pause. And now she wants you to come with her as she traverses the vast, desolate landscape of the Arabian desert. And somehow there's nothing more you could ever want. Besides, your feet hurt, your skin is burnt from the sun. And she promises you that you'll never want for anything, and you'll always have a home with her. And more miraculously, she promises you'll be the benefactor of her eternal time raid, and you'll accept. She'll steal you in the night and you'll gladly let her. The choice was never really yours, was it? Your will has already been ransacked by the master of a den of thieves before she even said hello. Not many of the stealthy fledgling cut-purses could bear the lack of daylight for very long. They would either disappear into the night or listlessly cast their faces upon the boiling sunrise the next inevitable morning. But great rewards awaited those who could withstand the eternal struggle. They would enjoy a warm home, which plunged a league underground in the desert, away from the bustle of the arid streets above, so they could find rest and shelter from the blinding lights and appetizing sounds of the marketplace. 10 fathoms down from the narrow entrance at the surface lies a vented, hauntingly cosy den full of pilfered treasure from their unsuspecting prey. A weighted, fraying rope ladder swings from the hinges of a wooden dirt-caked door that one must knock upon carefully to enter. One misplaced or ill-timed strike against it may lead to a troublesome night and a grueling morning. But like any other family, once admitted into their cove, shared stories and midnight tea were enjoyed around a cheery cooking fire. Now entering the main of many firelit chambers of the den, young Akeem, their most capable thief, has returned from his nightly prowl. He's looted a special item for his viper-like leader's altar. She was found sharpening her silver-plated dagger on an improvised whetstone in the cooking area. Sliding up his heavy, intricate golden mask with his large gloved hand, he reveals a darkly handsome bearded face and a proud smile.
Great mother, I found something for you. It's what you've been looking for.
Is that right, my darling? Come, let me see.
A velvety voice finds its target from across the room near the fire. The woman sheathes her weapon inside her hide boot and turns her attention to her loyal disciple. From his black linen bag, he produced a beautiful gleaming bronze oil lamp in the shape of a bucking horse. Akeem galloped excitedly toward the woman with it in hand. His master, a high priestess of the moon goddess Nana, shook off a stale stare of melancholy. Her long, dark, raven-coloured wavy hair whipped wildly as she tossed her locks away from her frighteningly beautiful face. She smiled and exhaled a sigh of relief to see a friendly face beaming back at hers. She delicately lifted the lamp from his hands and pulled it into the light to examine it. It was heavy and without a single blemish or spot of tarnish. Indeed, it would fetch a pretty penny in the underground black market given the sorcerer's mark at the base of it. But she couldn't imagine parting with it just yet.
Yes, thank you, Akeem. It's lovely. Now go eat. It's almost sunup.
Is everything okay, Mother? You haven't left the den in weeks. You can't survive on just goats and chickens. Come with me. Get some fresh air. They've lessened their patrols. Must mean they think we've left.
Well, you would think after clearing the miscreants from these infernal streets, they would have more faith in us, celebrate the presence of the humble gods in their midst, like they used to. How are the fledglings' eyes healing?
They're healing good. Pain as expected. But the silver's got a good shine in the moonlight.
Very good.
The woman scratched at her dirty neck and chest with her long, silver-plated fingernails, leaving bright red tracks across her collarbone. She looks half awake, sitting on her hay-stuffed pillow on the floor, swaying back and forth. She looks lost in thought, chasing a lonely sunset of emotions sinking into her reflective eyes. Akeem breaks the intrusive silence.
There's a man in Rome. He's near death. He fell from a cot this morning. He's suffering, Mother.
No, Akeem, you know my rules.
You're ill, Mother.
Stop calling me that.
What? Ill?
No, Mother. I'm no one's mother. I am no one's wife. I am no one's friend. I am no one's savior. You've been alive longer than most of the others. It's time for you to make your own way now. It's time for you to lead them.
But we need you, Mother. You are our moonlight.
No. I've done enough for the goddess to last 1,000 lifetimes. I've committed enough horrors, in the world and within myself. I can't be responsible for your happiness, Akeem. I can't even find my own.
What's happened to you?
Nothing. Nothing's happened. That's what scares me. Nothing more can happen to me. What else is there to experience? What else is there to know? To feel? I cannot die, yet I am nothing but living fear. That's all that's left. Am I still even a woman? Or is the monster all that's left? Don't I still dream and ache and laugh? Why am I so empty? There's nothing inside of me but blood and terror. I can't even remember his face.
Whose face?
Oh, Akeem, I'm grateful you don't yet understand the depths of my wild mind. I so wish I hadn't stolen such a beautiful soul as yours. I don't deserve you. Just go. Take the night dwell with you.
Akeem's shoulders dropped from relief of the sudden dismissal, and he darted towards the chamber entrance to begin his long ascent up the ladder back to the surface. The woman filled the empty basin of the lamp with the little oil they had left and lit the dusty wick. Her eyes narrowed pensively. Now, with the lamp burning brightly, she abandoned the warmth of the cooking fire and curled into the next chamber where her altar awaited. It had been years since she's looked upon it, and shame panged in her stomach. It was dark and quiet now in her subterranean tomb-like lair. She positions the lit oil lamp gently with her unstable, trembling hands and postures submissively before it on the ground. What could she say after all this time? What could she pray for now? She had nearly forgotten what it meant to be a high priestess of the moon.
Exalted goddess Nana.
She began with an undertone of resentment.
It is I, your servant and intercessor. I ask for your guidance in my reasoning. I am lost and afraid. As you've always shown me despite my own insistence, there is truly no honor among thieves. I have led your followers astray. I wish to return us to the light. I wish to...
The room abruptly descends into complete darkness. A sudden burst of dusty air blew right into her face.
Did you really mean that, dear girl? When you said I was lovely?
The manifestation of a strange, large, decrepit man leans in and gently sniffs the air around the woman still kneeling before him. In the damp muck of the chamber, the woman could be heard scrambling to reanimate an old pile of coal with tinder in the corner. As the embers engulfed the dry debris and a crackling flame fluttered dutifully, the brown-haired woman squinted even in its meagre light. Her hands rested on the freshly sharpened silver dagger sheathed inside her boot. She turned her eyes towards the dark figure quietly levitating in the corner. His fashionable but worn fabric hat was aloft his silvery-haired head, and it matched his long drifting tunic. His beard was matted and manged. His bulging arms were folded in front of him, but he was visibly straining to maintain the height at which he was floating. His magic was ancient and tired, and it showed in his glowing blue lazurite-tinted eyes. The woman's own brown eyes brightly reflected the firelight from somewhere behind them, like a great cat-like creature of the night. They glowed yellow and glinted as she called firmly into the corner.
Who's there?
Silence followed, but eventually a pair of hairy bare feet stepped slowly towards her on the floor. From somewhere behind the figure, a scaly serpent tail swished over the loose dirt, slinging dust and mud.
I am Baal, the great Jinn of the desert.
Ugh, of course Akeem brought back another Jinn.
The woman huffed, acutely exhausted.
Why am I so surprised?
The great Baal must have been posing as an elegant and expensive oil lamp for who knows how long. His absurd ruse was the last she needed that evening.
Why do you not quake before me, girl?
I'm not a girl, oh great one, and I've met a much greater Jinn than you. Now where is that tender?
Oh, really? And who are you, most unflappable woman? Why do you weep so pitifully?
The woman tosses a bit more kindling on the fire, and the flames gobble it up.
I am Kianja, mother of the house of Nana, and I'd like to be left alone as intended.
But why? Why are you crying alone? You have your friends who keep you company, don't you?
I have company who keep me friendly, Jinn. And you are no friend of mine.
Then I will leave. But I must return a favor to you for freeing me from that strange place.
Yes, it was a keeper's treasury. Akeem, you fool.
Well, I've been trapped there by some kind of dark magics for ages. I simply must repay you.
You have nothing of value to me, Jinn.
The great Baal, if you please. And I fear I have much to offer you. For instance, you mentioned, while you were wailing to yourself, a dream you had lifetimes ago. That your family could walk alongside everyone else. To bear from your womb a world where that dream is a reality. You wish to ensure the protection of your family from your enemies until it's time to finally ascend to meet your great creator.
Well, I never uttered those exact words.
I can help you. I will grant you this wish with the very last of my magic.
Kianja's eyes flashed at him with great curiosity and focus.
How?
By serving you as a loyal servant. Not a thief or a sellsword, but a reliable subordinate with incomparable powers. What do you say? It would be my pleasure.
I do not confer with sand devils, you snake. There's always a scheme with you and your kind.
You call me a snake? Are you not just as slithering as I am, Mother Kianja? Sneaking around in the night, lying, stealing, hunting, and preying upon the innocent? Are you not a vampire?
Kianja is speechless, but her bitter silence spoke louder than her biting words ever could.
I am the new start you and your den of thieves have been waiting for. I am the answer to your prayers. In all the years you've scratched, clawed, and raided, wasting this impossible gift of deathlessness, I have amassed a wealth of knowledge you could only imagine. I will help restore honor to the house of Nana. But I have to wonder, what is all of my power and cosmic knowledge worth if it was only meant to fade? I want what you want.
And oh, great one, what do I want exactly?
A legacy fulfilled. Tell me you do not deny I am already on the god's temple steps with the souls of my soul held to the fire. I do not have long, and I need you. I will serve you, and I will pledge my loyalty in whatever way you see fit. Please, Mistress Kianja, I beg you. My work cannot be done here on Earth. Not yet. Not in this forsaken city. I am meant for something greater than the great Baal.
While it is true we are alive, I assure you, we are not without death. There is nothing deathless about our life. But if I take you at your word, it may prove advantageous to be in the good graces of a haughty demon such as yourself. What do you ask of me, devil?
We must steal one last thing, and we must plan quickly and carefully.
Fine, I will send my best men with you.
No, it must be you.
Why?
Because you are the moon child. I can smell it. It's like a sickness. The others are ill, yes, but you are truly inhabited. You were chosen by the visitors. The power inside of you was not meant for this world, yet the gods saw fit to give you this gift to pass on. And now, I need it, Kianja. This is my destiny, you see? Don't I deserve it too?
No, you do not understand. No one deserves this, Jinn.
Because no one is worthy of it. Great mistress. If you want freedom from this life, as you call it, meet me at sundown tomorrow at the gates of Rome. We have much to do, and my time on Earth is nearly spent. I won't make it one day more.
Of all the rhetoric spouted from the unexpected guest, Kianja knew he meant these last words. The old Jinn was dying. The great Baal rips away from Kianja's presence dramatically, swirling his cloak through the dimly lit chamber. He began prancing panicked along the walls, searching for a door or an obvious exit.
Kianja, where are we exactly?
No one, especially Kianja, was sure the meeting would even take place the next night. But she showed up just as the sun had retired for the evening. Her glinting golden mask protected her vulnerable face, while her dark embroidered clothing covered the rest of her delicate alabaster body. She stood in the shadows of the city walls, searching for any sign of the magical shapeshifter.
So glad you could make it, mistress. I am honored.
The great Baal swirled into existence right outside the large wooden gates, having remained under his charm of invisibility until she had arrived.
What now, Baal?
Oh, I can't wait for you to meet him. He's perfect. Now let's get inside while the guards are still distracted with the ladies.
Kianja and the great Baal slipped into the city virtually unnoticed. All, including the Emperor, were consumed with their Saturnalia festivities. The sweet smell of wine and the rustic scent of bloodied livestock invaded Kianja's senses. Akeem would have loved to see this. They walked past block after block of raucous human scenery. The marketplace was a circus, an arena all on its own, and its gladiators, the good, sensible people of Rome.
What are we stealing, Jinn?
Kianja became more and more leery of the patrolling guards. She had become quite unfamiliar with the grand city during her seclusion.
He's just down here.
Baal led Kianja through a narrow alleyway. She grew claustrophobic and impatient.
Where are you taking us?
There.
The great Baal stopped his mistress in front of an open window and pointed inside with his old, bony finger. A tall, attractive young Roman man stood in the middle of an apartment room, smiling ear to ear as he set up candles and wreaths along the walls, giddy with excitement. He had cropped brown hair and striking green eyes. He was a slave called Dominic, and he was decorating for a celebration that honoured the reversal of roles between him and his enslaver. He would be served wine and cakes by the man who held his very life in his hand, and it would be customary to let insults rain upon his master. Naturally, he already had a few in mind, which he rehearsed boisterously aloud.
And another thing, you smell awful in the morning.
He's a bit young, but it makes up for my imprisonment, don't you think?
I don't understand. What are we stealing?
Mistress, isn't it obvious we're stealing him? He is the glinting treasure tonight.
Kianja had not bit a man in ages. She wasn't sure she even had venom in her teeth anymore.
For what purpose?
He'll be my new vessel. I'm going to inhabit him. Once you've infected him, of course.
Precious blood rushed to Kianja's head.
So that I can serve you forever.
Baal giggled and nearly salivated over the thought of becoming like her. He gripped her shoulder tightly, both of them knowing she wasn't powerful enough to overcome the great Baal should she refuse. The sharp reflection bouncing off her golden mask onto his eerily smiling face wobbled as she trembled. She was revolted by the thought of having to suffer the great Baal for all of eternity going forward, no matter the alluring state he would be in.
You don't understand. It takes days, maybe weeks for a fledgling to turn. You'll have to turn with him, and it's a horrid experience, and there's no other way.
She fully expected the smile to drop from his face, but instead it grew impossibly wide.
then nothing would honor me more, mistress. You see, I am a purist. I believe in the sanctity of the mortal experience, but you shall make me eternal. Though it will take all of my magic to keep him suppressed, please do not misunderstand me, Kianja. As the last thing I do, I will cut you down at the first notion of disloyalty. For my vengeance, not unlike yours, is precise and pure.
The rumours and stories Kianja had heard of the mighty Jinn were undersold. In the case of the great Baal, his reverence for the pain and suffering, both of himself and others, may have been what earned him his imprisonment in the sorcerer's lair for all those years. He should have been kept out of the affairs of humans, perhaps from all living creatures at that. And poor Dominic won't get to enjoy this one last feast before the food of man begins to taste like mush and dung in his mouth. And the gods will be swindled, his innocent soul out of reach for eons. And perhaps the once sacred nomadic church the first immortal had built with her bare hands had just been deconstructed right from under her in that moment. The house was no longer hers. Indeed, the hungry den had just gained yet another thief.
Come, Great Mother, it's time for our new life to begin.